What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Well, CGC has responded, and I am actually pleasantly surprised with their response. It is more than what I thought that it would be. I think everyone's going to wish that it came out a little bit sooner, but I am sure that they wanted to dig in and do at least a prelim investigation on how good, bad, or indifferent this situation really was before kind of formulating what their plan was over the holidays, the whole 9 yards. Is this all perfect? No. Obviously, it would be nice if this never happened. There will be a segment of people that no matter what they come out and say, they will still be mad about it and upset about it. But I think this is actually a pretty good response out of them. And it is more than what I thought we would get. I thought they might go the silent treatment. We've talked about this a bunch on live streams and various videos and the whole 9 yards. But let's kind of run through what they put up. This was on their Instagram post this morning. Just says that they are aware of the incident. I'll leave each one of these screens up there so you all can read it. I'm not gonna read to you, but they do acknowledge that there was an incident. The interesting statement here is it was a few hundred books affected. Now, we don't know if other people have been doing this. Could there be more stuff like this out there? Of course there could be. But we don't have specific examples to tie it back because those people didn't get caught. So, yes, there could be others out there, but there's no way to know that. We have no good way of knowing that unless someone uncovers something that they could start putting the puzzle pieces together. But they do acknowledge that it is a few hundred books. Just their individual blanket statement here about how long they've been doing this. The one that I found amusing after Swaggle Hoss and I dug around, each one backed by a comprehensive guarantee. I might question that one. I don't know how comprehensive that guarantee is, at least on paper, because when you actually look at what CGC Comics guarantees, I don't know how comprehensive it actually is, but sure, to each their own. Here is really the one that you want to see. If you purchase one of these books that the individual tampered with, we will ensure you appropriately compensated for the loss arising from any failures in our service. And this is the big one. We expect to share a list of books that we believe are impacted as soon as possible. So they are still compiling, it sounds like, the final list together, and they are going to make that public, which to me, that is a major, major win. If everyone knows exactly what is out there, so you know to go and look for it. That is something, like, I know when PSA has been caught up and stuff like this before, it's never usually been on this wide of a scale. It's usually an individual card. They don't make a public proclamation about it. It's kind of up to you as the collector to go look up the cert number. In this case, they're going to put the list out there for the world to see, which I think is very, very good. That will renew some confidence in things again if you could check that list versus your own personal collection and things that you may or may not be buying. So that is hats off to them for that one. Obviously, we wish their holder was more secure and that their policies were tighter, that this stuff wouldn't happen. Here's the other thing. They've also retained private investigation and outside counsel. They are going to do an internal review of all their policies and procedures around this. They also state that they have already made changes to policies and procedures and processes on this, and that essentially they are going after this person with the full extent of the legal recourse that they have available to them. So I know everyone's clamoring for, everyone should make the name public. You should make the name public. I get everybody wants a witch hunt, but there are proper ways to do this stuff, and a company is not going to post someone publicly. They are going to let the legal system play out and do its thing to the best of their ability. But I have a feeling this person's going to be in quite a bit of legal trouble with all this. I would love for them to list what their improvements to our processes are, but they're not going to do that. Everyone would probably want to hear that, but then that just opens them up for people to figure out the next loophole to get around things. And then finally, they do say that they will share more information, and they have an email address here if you want to reach out if you have one of the books in question. So overall, pretty decent response. I would have liked to seen it faster. At least I think what I would like to have seen is maybe even just this slide like a week ago and say, hey, we are aware, and maybe leave out how many books are involved just to kind of quell people. But I get, part of me understands why they don't want to do that, because if they dig into it and it's like 6 books affected by it, they don't want to blow this thing up. But clearly it's more than that, and clearly the community was not letting this go. There was so much conversation, so much discourse about this, not even just on YouTube, but on social in general and on the CGC message boards. And I have to imagine they were getting tons of pressure behind the scenes from some of their biggest customers. Because if your business is built around buying and selling CGC slabs, and now this comes out, all of a sudden it rots the foundation of your entire house that you have built. While those people may not publicly state something, I guarantee privately they were probably talking to people saying, hey, what the hell is going on? If you guys don't fix this, you're affecting my business. I might have to look elsewhere. And they probably heard that. If your biggest submitters, your biggest dealers, and everyone on social is just pounding you guys day after day, racking up tens of thousands of views, that affects you. Even if, and this is something we talked about on the live stream the other night with Swags and Como, generally speaking, the social media sphere, the bubble that we are in, those of you watching this video and the people, in that YouTube, IG, CGC message board bubble is relatively small compared to the greater comic book collecting community. But this was just too loud for them to ignore. And that is why it's important to call stuff like this out and to hold these companies accountable to the best of our ability. Now, we don't have to get the pitchforks and torches out immediately. We can be critical of these places without just going full attack mode. I know in the past, CGC has not necessarily respond to stuff like this, but I will give them props for this one. Curious, is this enough for you? As a CGC collector, buyer, investor, whatever you want to call it, is this enough to satiate you? Do you feel more confident again in this company? Are you willing, if you had a stack of books that you were getting ready to send off, or even cards? I saw card people were like, are you now feeling more confident about packaging those items up to ship off to CGC? Are you more confident cruising eBay tonight buying Hulk 181s? Or do you still have large concerns out there? Like I said, nothing they were going to say was going to be perfect. Nothing they were going to say was going to satiate everybody. But that's not what they needed to do. They needed to calm down the majority of people that were swirling around this. And I feel like they have done a good job of that. Now, it is still our responsibility as a community to hold them to this stuff. We need to see the list. How big was the list? Once people contact them about buying back books, how smooth or easy is that process? How are they going to try to nickel and dime people? Are they going to give fair market value? Are they going to compensate you exactly what you paid for it? Those are the types of things that we need to see now. And if they don't follow through on that stuff, we'll hold them accountable again. And obviously, there could be more of this stuff out there. More people could have been doing this. There's really no way to know that. Hopefully, the policies and procedures that they have changed will combat this and kind of nip this. There are still some other concerns out there. There's a YouTube video, and I know Manu 9.9 shared the Instagram reel of how easy it is to heat up and open up one of these cases. That's a problem. That is a major problem. Even if you're not sending it in for a reholder, you could potentially easily pass that off to somebody else. So that part is a little bit scary. They need to address that. Maybe not publicly, but at least it's clear that the slab needs better security on it. That's the next thing I want to see out of them. Whether they publicly talk about it or in a few months there's a quiet update that nobody realized happens and they change the way that they seal up or something like that. I don't know. You feel like that would be something they want to make public, but that's the other big missing piece of this that we need to see in the future is increased slab security. And what does that look like? Overall, I think this was a very good response. Curious for your thoughts and comments as always down below. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.